everybody, and welcome to Raising Vibrations. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about the sun sign forecasts for the month of February. And in last month's description, I shared a little bit about the way in which the sun sign and the ascendant work together and why these solar cycles are important to watch and listen to. And in today's discussion, little opener, I'm going to be talking about something that's really fascinating, to be honest. It's always been a way in which we've understood astrology. And today we're going to be talking about something called a neutrino. Okay, the neutrino stream, the neutrino field, the neutrino ocean, however you wish to find it. It is the Aquarian age, in my opinion, word or terminology for the word for prana or energy or chi that we have labeled as a way to understand information and the way in which we experience this universe. So what is energy? What is the way in which we are having consciousness and the way in which we understand the spectrum of light? So neutrino and the neutrino stream is a neutrino itself is a very small particle, okay? It's actually smaller than an atom, and its mass basically penetrates through atoms. And basically what happens with a neutrino is that it contains information, okay, of everything that it passes through. So it permeates the totality of our entire reality in which we experience, and that is how we actually get to understand the astrology impacting us, how we get the planetary archetypes, and how the information passes through us. Okay, it's no coincidence that in the ancient times, we would have a lot of teachings, esoteric teachings, in which the sun would be a way in which we would absorb photon energy, and we would basically have our cellular memory activated through that experience. That's why, if you notice on the internet, there's a lot of things about sun gazing or, spending a great deal of time activating yourself through the sun. The same, obviously, with plants and stuff. It's not a coincidence. And so the information that moves through our reality is this thing called the neutrino ocean, the neutrino stream. And like I said, it was prana, chi, energy, however you wish to describe it. And there's, like I said, these little small particles that are incredibly tiny. They're incredibly tiny, okay? And then in the description below, I've got some links for everybody to go and read and check this out and to educate yourself on, because it's a really fascinating thing to do. Science is really trying to understand this in a very deep way. And so what the neutrino does is it basically moves through the sun, and the sun permeates these neutrinos, and as it basically comes through Earth and it moves through our body, we have all the information imprinting our consciousness, imprinting our body. And this process is the way in which these planetary energies influence us, like I said. All right. And it's according to a system of knowledge, 70% of the neutrino is actually coming from the sun, and the rest of it comes from the universe in itself. And the collapsed stars permeate information. And as it moves through us, through everybody, okay, it moves through us and it basically sticks on us for information, and it moves through and carries information. And that's how we basically are evolving our consciousness, which is why I've come to understand that these sun sign forecasts are really powerful pieces of information to understand, because the fact that we can have the sun sign, so my sun sign Scorpio, your sun sign whatever, the sun, as it basically manifests itself and it permeates the earth, and the neutrino information goes through the sun and through your chart, it activates your consciousness, it activates your template. And this template basically reflects to you the nature of how your consciousness is evolving in this lifetime. So watching your astrology has become something so fascinating to me even more, because as it opens up this dimension of reality, we get to see how much the universe is consistently supporting us with what we have come here to evolve. And that's why, for me, understanding these sun sign forecasts and understanding them through an evolutionary cycle has brought an immense amount of wow, I really actually like this. I really actually enjoy understanding how these things are influencing us in a massive way, more so than I had in the past. So neutrinos, neutrino stream, this is how this information gets imprinted through us. And I wanted to share a picture with everybody over here. Let me just go over to the screen and you can still hear me. And on the right-hand side, you see a guy standing over there and the sun permeating the neutrinos, the information being reflected from the sun. The sun contains light. The light is obviously what we are in consciousness, and that moves through us. And there are approximately 65 billion neutrinos moving through your body every minute. So the capacity for us to actually experience these neutrinos moving through us is so incredibly large. And you can see on the left-hand side over here, the sun, neutrinos from the sun, right? It basically comes from the center of the sun and it moves through all the planetary systems and permeates through Earth. And that's how we obviously are impacted by this. And it's really, really fascinating. And like I said in the description below, there's a couple of links that you can click on to go and read more about this and see some of the experiments that science is doing at the moment to capture this. And according to the way in which they've been able to capture this, only 6% of the 65 million neutrinos has science been able to actually put it down and say, hey, we can spot these things called the ghost particle. So this is a really, really fascinating thing for us to be able to actually track the way in which our consciousness is being imprinted from the neutrino stream. And we're having this happen to us all the time. That's how the nature of the universe moves through us. And we're constantly watching this process just unfold in our way. So really fascinating stuff. All right, guys, I hope that you enjoyed this little introduction. And coming up right now is your sun sign forecasts. Friends, and welcome to the sun sign forecast for 2017 for the month of February. Hope you guys are well and life is treating you fairly in that sense, as much as it can be, I suppose. So firstly, just before we go into the chart for you for this month, I really hope you enjoyed the introduction video and got some understanding of how the astrology actually is working through us and how we're designed to be, sort of developed and evolved, and how our body is naturally developing the awareness that our soul has come here to see. And that astrology can be a really powerful tool when we actually get into the process of seeing that this is our evolution. So a really fascinating thing. Okay, so let's have a look. Right, so firstly, we're always going to begin with Pluto. Pluto sits in the 6th house of your solar cycle. And so for you, the bottom line here for everybody, in fact, when we're looking at our horoscopes, is always going to be around what Pluto is doing. Okay, this is the unconscious patterns in your life that create the fabric of it. And what we choose to do and how we choose to experience our reality always ultimately comes through the planet Pluto, the archetype Pluto. And so for you guys, you've been dealing a lot with your sense of self-improvement, okay? Your whole life since 2006 has really been about growing up and taking not necessarily responsibility for your life, but more along the lines of I would like to achieve certain things. I would like to establish or grow, and there's been this really strong focus in your life of just overall becoming more self-improved and better at what you do, and really giving yourself that opportunity to become competent in a very profound way. So part of that process is now moving into where the sun is, okay? And the sun is in your solar 7th house. So for you, you've been focusing for the last couple of weeks on relationships, and you've been learning about how to, establish new types of ways of being, what type of relationship dynamics you choose to have. Some of you maybe in your personal life have found that relationships need to be adjusted in accordance with what's right for you and what's not right for you. And some of you may have gone into the world and renegotiated the way that you feel your business, you want to conduct your business, the way that you however you wish to be treated has been a big theme for you. And how you want to treat other people has also been a big theme for you for these last couple of weeks. And this will continue to be the case until the 18th of February when the sun moves into Pisces. So With the sun moving through the seventh house and obviously creating these dynamics over here, we can look at some of the other planets that are affecting the way that this is evolving for you. Saturn is still transiting your solar fifth house. Okay, this is your natural house. And with Saturn moving over there, you've been definitely adding a lot of growth, emotional growth, and responsibility to fulfilling your sense of destiny. You've been really working hard at finding out what gives you purpose and meaning, and really developing a strong sense of, okay, like, here's my destiny, here's what I feel like I'm fulfilled to do, and I wish to pursue this. And you've been really working hard at getting that process done. And of course, the sun just influencing now how you would like to establish relationships in which that gets supported. Does that make sense? On the 3rd of February, which is happening in a day's time when I actually recorded this, you can see that Venus moves into the constellation Aries, and that moves into your solar ninth house. And that joins the party with Mars and Uranus, okay? Now, whenever we deal with the ninth house or the solar ninth house, we're learning about stuff, right? We're expanding our horizons. We're beginning to explore higher meanings and things. And so for you, there's going to be a great deal of attention around, so what kind of education do I have that is going to help me follow my dreams? What kind of truth do I subscribe to that really supports me in a way where I can become more competent in my life and I can follow my dreams? And just your general overall philosophy on stuff is going to really be coming into a heightened sense of awareness. So this is a great opportunity to travel. This is a great opportunity to pick up a book or any learning material and really get digesting of stuff that really attracts you. And because of the way that things work when it comes to the astrology, this is also an opportunity to pay attention to what is around you at this stage in your life and pick up the cues from where life is providing you with information and little pointers and certain directions for you to follow that gives you the direction that you're actually seeking. Okay, so this is not also a time where you just go, okay, that's it, I'm just going to go travel. You watch when people maybe invite you to some place, or watch when you feel this excitement to want to travel, and then all of a sudden you see an advert with a synchronicity to that, and you kind of go and follow the synchronicity, and all of a sudden there becomes this option to, you know, explore and broaden your horizons. And what you thought was an opportunity to travel to a country was actually a cooking class that has the theme of that country, right? It's a really weird thing to experience, but it definitely works out like that. So be on the lookout for that. And of course, that will definitely be influencing a lot about, like I said, your creative pursuits and dreams. Mars and Venus are your personal planets, okay? So I feel that that's going to be an interesting dynamic. Now, on the 6th of Feb, we've got Jupiter going retrograde, which of course is going to be a big deal for us as well, everybody on the planet. And so that lands in your solar third house. And Jupiter's really been expanding your sense of connection and communication, and how you connect with people, how you communicate, and how you're establishing connections and stuff. So with Jupiter moving through your third and Saturn in your fifth, and the Sun in your seventh, you've been working a lot in how you're effectively communicating and negotiating and following your dreams, right? So there's been a very strong acceleration in your voice. Now, because it's gone retrograde, of course, this means for you that you're paying a lot more attention to something that's more internal. You're renegotiating the way that you are looking at your connections. You're maybe going to step back a bit here and just kind of like understand how you want to connect with people. So with Jupiter retrograde, this is a great opportunity to just observe how what you thought was the right way to negotiate around things that you felt that you needed. This is a reflection time, okay? So review the relationships that you've got, review the way that you communicate with them, and see what's working for you and not, all right? And of course, you'll have a lot of information come through anyway through that. Now, on the 10th of February, okay, we're just going to have a look over here. Mercury actually enters Aquarius. So this is a great opportunity to begin to access that communication that's happening in Jupiter with relationship dynamics. And then on the 10th of February, we've got a new moon, sorry, not a new moon, a full moon happening at 22 degrees Leo, right? So this is actually in your solar first house. And it's a full moon lunar eclipse. So this is definitely going to bring up some stuff around the feelings of wanting to belong to something, the feelings of wanting to experience a sense of community and acceptance and love. And for you, this is really about your own personality, right? It's your own sense of meaning of life. So on the 10th, on the 10th of February, just pay close attention to what's happening around you, all right? It's no need to act on that. Just pay attention to how you feel and what's going around you, and really being able to then observe how that is influencing a great deal in terms of what's going on with your Jupiter and what's going on with your Sun here as well, okay? And then on the 14th of February, we've got Jupiter in conjunct Chiron. Okay, now look at the moon. Look what happens to the moon just before that in conjunct takes place. Look there. Okay, there it hits Jupiter. So that's your 8th house, your solar 8th house. There's Chiron, and there is your solar 3rd house. So this is about getting in touch with the more deeper aspects of your meaning. Okay, this is about getting in touch with investigation and asking the questions and getting to the bottom of the questions that you've got. So when it comes to community, when it comes to connectivity, when it comes to developing connections with people, okay, you're going to be asking yourself the question, can I trust? Can I emotionally bond? Do I fearful? Do I allow myself to be vulnerable in these situations with these types of connections I'm making with people? Okay, so on the 14th, this is going to come up for you, and this is a great opportunity to just ask yourself, okay, these are the types of relationships I want because I feel this is trusting, and this is not the type of relationship I want because I don't trust it, etc. Okay, you'll be sensitive to that. And then, of course, on the 18th of February, the Sun enters Pisces, which is great for you because that actually moves into your solar 8th house. So we've got this party happening in the solar 8th house, and it's all about, again, trust, intimacy, and the ability to feel secure in life, okay? And there's actually quite a lot to say about this, to be honest, because as the Sun moves into your solar 8th house, you have Chiron, Neptune, the South Node, you've had Mars and Venus all transit that period of time. And this is really simply saying to you that you've been dealing a lot with your own personal limitations, your own personal feelings of abandonment. People around you have maybe felt abandoned, people around you have maybe felt loss. And so you've been really learning about the nature of what is the deeper meaning in life, okay? And commitment has been a big part of the story, which makes complete sense considering the fact that your Sun has actually been transiting your solar 7th house for just over a month. So this is the time when you get into the process of saying, again, like I said, do I want to invest my energy into this? Do I not? Do I want to invest my energy into that? No, I don't. Yes, I do. And it's like just being able to be clear about what are the right investments for you in whatever it is that you're choosing to access and invest in, okay? And then finally on the 26th of February, we've actually got a new moon solar eclipse happening in Pisces, and you can see that there's the huge party in Pisces, which is amazing. And this solar eclipse is going to bring a huge level of awareness around this question that has been popping up for you for quite some time around what can I invest in, what can I trust, what can I not trust. So by the 26th of February, I feel like there will be at least a sense of clarity begin to form around how to make the right investments. All right. Okay. All right, my Leo friends, have a fantastic month, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, or if you're interested in booking readings with myself or metamorphosis programs, astrology, learn your charts, any of those things, you can always go over to my website. In the description below is a link. All right. Have a fantastic